when he recorded his fifth double-double of his career. You've often talked about him just bringing the spirit to this team, but what did you see with him getting the start tonight?
On the defensive end, just the ability to guard, one of the top guards in the league. His juice is always at 100%. No surprise there, but he's a really good defender. Thought he, even in early, got a couple loose balls just to kind of – we weren't great early. Didn't have a ton of juice. Found it in that third quarter, and doesn't matter when, first, second, third, or fourth, he always has the juice. So, 33 minutes starting matchup of De'Aaron Fox. It's a pretty good night.
Coach, just to follow that up, in the first half, it seemed like guys didn't have their legs. Just curious what, having maybe Goodwin in that mix got them going, or what you feel like led to getting the legs back in the second half?
I think a little bit at the end of the second, I felt there was some flashes that we got it back. But then we came out with the right intention in that third quarter. Starts on our defensive end, and then you can get out and run. We got a couple good transition buckets there, I felt, early. They called a timeout. And then that third quarter was the difference. Our juice, our defensive energy, forcing 19 turnovers, just our juice overall in that third quarter really helped us.
We talked about before the game putting the roster together, but when you put it together, were you seeing this kind of 20, I think you guys are plus 20 in shots, and then the turnovers. Did you sense you were putting together a roster that could deliver that on that end as far as forcing the turnovers?
We've just been preaching it. I mean, the possession game in general, our defensive activity, our initial pickup point defensively. Some nights your shots just aren't falling. It definitely wasn't falling. Didn't feel great in that first half. I think we were plus 8 in the possession game even at halftime. So. And then the guys just buying in. Like, we have guys that are going to the offensive glass that probably haven't in their career. So it is different. It's different for them without getting hit on the transition defense. So that's always going to be top of mind anytime you send an extra body to the offensive glass. Can we get back in transition? And early in the season, we struggled a little bit with our transition. Part of that was our live ball turnovers. But I do feel we found some success in being able to still get on the glass and back. So, but tonight we took care of it. Other nights we have struggled with our turnovers, especially the other night, but we took care of it, so that helped us in the possession game.
Jordan, you all had a 40% defensive field goal percentage in the second half. We talked about the activities and the deflections and things like that. What else are you seeing with your team in the second half as far as sometimes the adjustment, like you mentioned, is just playing better on the defensive end? Because it feels like the second half oftentimes entails a better defensive performance from you all.
It's probably all of it, Stephen. It's a little bit better on the basketball. Our hands, our activity, and then it's going to be defensive rebounding a lot of nights with us. I think we're small at times, and then just being able to make the one more effort, like our multiple efforts to try to get them to make one more decision offensively, and that takes effort. So our guys played pretty hard to then force that next effort. And then a lot of times when you're making that next effort, you're in rotation, so you're big sometimes not in the right place, and you can get hurt in the glass. At some point, you just got to find a way to get a defensive rebound. And they're going to be consistent themes all year. Can we make one more effort and get the defensive rebound?
And then the third quarter, I think Royce was inbounding, usually uses staggers for Booker from sideline out of bounds. They tried to switch out, and he hit Goody, and Goody hit him back for the three that seemed like it sparked the run for you. Is that something that you all picked up on as far as scouting report and knowing what a team likes to do in those situations, or is that just those two kind of combining their IQ?
Have good basketball players. They made the right play. It's a feel by Goody. Royce is always ready to fire, so they just made the play.
Coach, speaking of Jordan, I mean, it's not very common that a guard just has a knack for getting the offensive boards like he does. Is there anything specific you've seen, maybe from an intangible standpoint, that he does that allows him to get in such good position for those offensive rebounds?
I think he's done it before here, right? So I think he's done it in his career. I assume if you look back at his college career, he did it. We allow him to do whatever it is your super skill is. One of his super skills is going to the offensive glass. So it just happens to be a part of our system. But even if it wasn't, you got to allow him to do what he's really good at. He just has a knack, not only offensive rebounds, but deflections, any type of loose ball. He just has a hunger to get the basketball. And, that's part of who he is. It's part of what made him, and that's part of why we love him.
With Mark, I mean, he scored 10 in the third, but it really felt like a lot of that defensive presence. He was sort of that anchor in terms of pick and roll and sort of going up or dropping, things of that sort. How have you sort of seen him embrace not only just handling that pick and roll coverage, but sort of being that anchor and sort of calling the shots on the defensive end?
Bigs are involved in every play on both sides of the basketball, especially how much we play pick and roll offense. And then with everyone playing so much pick and roll defense, we're asking them to do a lot. And for the majority of his career, he is a drop big. We're trying to ask him to get up to the level of the screen. Tonight we did a couple different coverages. At times it's 1 through 5 is a switch. At times we tried to get the ball out of Fox's hands, so and protect the rim and defensive rebound and run to the other end. So third quarter was fantastic.
You mentioned like the lack of juice in the first half, but then the immediate response in the second half. How much do you feel like the base starting to solidify with what the team is becoming and just like their confidence in what you guys have going?
Yeah, and in each other. I think it doesn't matter what we say in that halftime locker room, they have a belief amongst themselves, and they can feel it. You can feel in game we just weren't quite right. And there's 82 of these. It's a Sunday afternoon. Every excuse you could have in the book. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It matters what happens, win or loss, at the end of the night. So they felt it. They knew it. They came out with the right mindset. Started with that starting group.
Dylan didn't have a good start like right away shooting the ball, but he kept going. You can even hear the crowd sometimes when he's shooting that has like their own way of reacting to it, I guess I'll put it. But what does that do for you guys' team, and then for him to like remain that confident even when his shots aren't falling?
If you watch that man work, you're confident that it's going to go in. He takes the exact same shots when he works. He does stuff as hard as possibly can. If you watch his pregame, he's dripping sweat. His reps in practice are game-like. He plays 100 miles an hour every second he's on the floor. So it's nothing that we haven't seen before, like how those shots, he believes and we believe that they're going to go in. He hit big shots even in that second half. So, everything he does has been worked on before.
Hey, Jordan, it's 62-62 with about 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Then you guys run off 19 or 18-1. What happened?
I'll start with our defense. Obviously, if you go on a run like that, your defense, I do think there is a belief with these guys that we can guard. We can really, really lock in and guard. At times, that was Mark back there, but at times it's a second unit. You never know where that spark is going to come from. When you get stops in this league and you can play in transition, that helps any offense. And at times our offense wasn't great in that first half. You start to get better and better looks. Then you start to get more confident. You make a shot. Then you get to set your defense. So it just snowballs. And we got to hang in those tough spots, like that first half was at time. And then you just break. You just hopefully get on a run. And when it starts snowballing like that, it's a good thing.
And then finally, Book is 11 for 36 from the field in the last 2 games, and you won both games. Your thoughts? That's the question.
That is the question. Yeah, if you ask him, I'm sure he's, he has great belief in this group, and this group has found ways to win no matter who it is when they don't have great nights. And I think that's why this group could be different, because when he does get it figured out, it only creates even more of a ceiling for us. And I really thought he passed the ball well tonight. So he had 7 assists, but I assume he had some where we didn't make the shot, so he easily could have had a double-double. He's just finding ways to help us on both ends. So we'll take the 2-0, Barry. Thanks, Coach. Thank you.